today gonna be a good show? Okay, you got this? Hello and welcome to the show. Trey, what do we say? Ah!
This is a news show.
Sup, Nation? It's October 6, 2015. My name's Philip DeFranco, and let's get you filled in. And the first thing I want to talk about today is the weirdest sex scandal. Actually, it's not the weirdest sex scandal. It's probably the saddest sex scandal I've ever heard of. And that is a high-ranking Greek Orthodox priest has been forced to resign because it turned out that, even though he denied it for years, he was cheating on his wife with another married woman. I mean, at one point, this guy was head of all of their US priests. Now, the reasons he was no longer able to deny it: one, he's not shaggy, and two, it turned out he was recording the affairs, and now those videos leak. And it reveals one of the weirdest, saddest fetishes I have ever seen. And not just the feet stuff, you know, I don't get that, but Rex Ryan and Tarantino, they brought that shit mainstream. The thing I'm talking about is apparently this priest, the only way he could get excited, these words are about to come out of my mouth, was if the woman he was having an affair with would crush a single serving of pound cake with her ass. And really what this story leaves me with is, how do you get to this point? Not being a massive hypocrite or cheating on your wife, like, at what point have you consumed so much porn that the only thing that can get you off is a girl with a booty sitting on cake? Like, you just wake up one day and you're like, oh no, I need to get to a bakery ASAP. But anyway, props to this guy for being a massive cheating hypocrite. And from there, I want to share some stuff I love today, and today in Awesome, sponsored by audible.com/PhillyD. If you're in the mood for some good listening, go to that link, get your free audiobook. There's like 180,000 things to choose from. You also get a free 30-day trial membership. If you are going to get a book, I do highly recommend The Martian. I just finished it last week, just before I saw the movie last Saturday, and I was one of those snobs like, oh, well, they changed this, they skimmed over this. I really, really enjoyed it. They take like deeper dives into how terrifying the situation is and how funny Watney is. And joining me on this segment is the heir to the throne, Trey DeFranco, who is waiting for his lunch. And the first bit of awesome is actually a promo video for a true TV show. Adam Conover, who you might recognize from College Humor and the Adam Ruins Everything series, is now bringing that show to True TV, but in a promo video he talked about all the ways the TSA don't actually keep us safe. It's great, and if he's been able to keep control of all the content, I can't wait to see what he has on TV. Then we had Ubisoft dropping the announcement trailer for the next Far Cry Primal. This one seeming like the biggest jump in the franchise, taking place in 10,000 BC. Here's the deal, as long as the gameplay is even remotely like the last Far Cry, I'm in. Also, I found out more people have played Far Cry 4 than Far Cry 3. If you never played the third one, it blows the fourth one story out of the water. Then BuzzFeed put out a video that I would never put out, and that was they had the people in it not masturbate for a month. Some people have a line in the sand, sometimes it's bungee jumping out of an airplane. This is that for me. And then if you don't know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and doing her part is our lovely lady of the day who has taken to Instagram to promote breast cancer awareness, Ariani Celeste. And every time in the month of October, right after we do the lovely lady of the day, I'll remind you that you can help out by going to nationalbreastcancer.org. So if you want to check out more of Miss Celeste for science and/or charitable reasons, maybe anything else I talked about, our final bit of awesome is always our secret link of the day. Those links are always in the description down below. And then let's talk about a shoplifting suspect in Florida. Sounds like a very boring story, but this specific incident involves a 10-year veteran on the force being fired, as well as a body cam video. Here we see Officer Tim Clausen telling a suspect to come out of his house. He refused, then the officer said this.
Come outside now, you're about to get tased.
It should be noted that in the police report, this is when the officer said the suspect refused to show his hands. Now, in the officer's defense, the suspect was black. We also know that black people are magic. He could have shot lightning out of his fingertips at the officer. Luckily, the officer was able to get that taser off in time. Obvious sarcasm aside, how did the officer think that he actually had a taser with a camera on and blatantly put the opposite of what happened in the police report? Did he think no one was gonna look? Hell, that makes me think, how many times do they not look? Also, in case you were wondering, the captain of the department said they have no reason to believe that this attack was racially motivated, which I say could be true. At the very least, it seems like he's just a massive, massive dickhead. Then in Children Terrify Me news, which seems very capable of being a daily segment at this point with how terrifying the world is, an 11-year-old boy in Tennessee is facing first-degree murder charges for shooting and killing an 8-year-old girl. Reportedly, the two children were neighbors. The little girl was picked on by the boy. According to the mom, he was making fun of her, calling her names, just being mean to her, saying she had to go to the principal about him, and he quit. But then one day, the boy said he wanted to see Michaela's dog. She said no, and at that point, according to the sheriff, he went and retrieved a gun. The boy then fired the 12-gauge shotgun from inside of his house, striking the girl who was just standing in her yard. As far as where he got the gun was his father's, and it was in a cabinet that was not locked. Because what's the point of being a gun owner if you can't be a fucking idiot with your weapon? I hate this kid, and I hate this kid's idiot father. And as far as that 11-year-old's future, he's being held in a juvenile detention center, but according to the Washington Post, this could be transferred to an adult criminal court. Then in not news, it's celebrity news, there was apparently a leak, and totally not a PR stunt, where Ariana Grande accidentally posted a video of her and Liz Gillies from Victorious kissing. Then in a pretty cool new feature and change to news, Twitter just launched Moments. It's a new update launched today if you live in the United States, and you get a new button called Moment. If something's happening, you will now get a curated experience. It combines tweets, videos, vines, GIFs, and a move snagged right out of Snapchat's book. Once you are done with the moment, those go away forever. As of right now, most of the moments are curated by Twitter themselves. Then Microsoft had a bunch of big news. They announced the Surface 4, which looks better than the Surface 3 in pretty much every way. It's thinner, lighter, faster, more pixel dense, and they say it's 50% faster than the MacBook Air. But then Microsoft also announced the Surface Book laptop. It's a laptop and tablet, and the success of this thing really is all about its hinge. This thing, and it actually looks pretty great. And this looks to be Microsoft's big swing at the Apple MacBook Pro. The 13-inch laptop uses the newest Intel Core, NVIDIA graphics, high-speed GDDR5 RAM. They say you'll get about 12 hours of battery life, and they said in their testing it was twice as fast as the MacBook Pro of its same size. And most of the early hands-on of this product say the trackpad's great, the keyboard's great. It's gonna be really interesting to see how powerful this thing really is. Then Microsoft showed some more of HoloLens. Project X-Ray was pretty cool here. It essentially turned the room into the game. And if you're thinking about snagging one of these as early as possible, the developer edition of this, which is meant just for developers, will be available first quarter of next year for $3,000. Then there was a big news that yesterday California became the 5th state to legalize assisted suicide for terminally ill patients. So now in the state of California, if you are a mentally competent adult, you are going to die in the next 6 months according to your doctor. You can now be prescribed a lethal dose of medication to end your life. Now this won't take effect for the next 90 days, but I do personally say, in my opinion, I think this is a good thing. If I have no chance to live, I'm in excruciating pain, and I'm gonna deal with this for another 5.5 months, please take me out of my misery. And one of the biggest parts of this law isn't that it's just legal for a doctor to be a part of this. Is that in the state of California, if you go through all the regular steps, death resulting from the self-administration of an aid in dying drug is not considered suicide, and therefore health and insurance coverage shall not be exempted on that basis. And then let's talk about one of the biggest international stories right now, and that is the United States bombing a Doctors Without Borders hospital. The US airstrike reportedly killed 22 people. The explanation from the government initially was that American forces were under fire from Taliban who had taken up spots in the hospital and thus needed the air support. But then on Monday they said Afghan forces were under fire and called in the airstrike. And then General John Campbell, while speaking to the Senate today, said, to be clear, the decision to provide aerial fires was a US decision made within the US chain of command. And it appears they're chalking it up to a mistake, saying the US would never intentionally target a protected medical facility, adding no military in history has done more to avoid harming innocents. And reportedly there are 3 investigations into this event. One conducted by NATO, the other the Department of Defense, and the Afghanistan government. But the president of Doctors Without Borders said their facility was bombed intentionally, and that until proven otherwise, the events of last Saturday amount to an inexcusable violation of international law, saying this attack cannot be brushed aside as a mere mistake or an inevitable consequence of war, and calling it plainly a war crime. And on top of just being a horrible situation, I don't know what the government can say because they've changed their story now several times. At first it was US forces, then it's Afghan forces, oh, it was collateral damage, no, it was targeted specifically. And ultimately it boils down to it's horrible, innocent life was lost, and this is, once again, every time you make a mistake, anytime there is collateral damage that it takes the lives of innocents, you once again stoke up radicals. And all of that's without talking about the hypocrisy of the US government criticizing Russia for bombing and killing people accidentally when they're doing it as well. And that's where I'm gonna end today's show. Also remember, if you're not 100% filled in, I posted a brand new vloggity this morning. It involves car crashes, nipples versus teeth, you know, important stuff. And of course I post there every single day, so go check it out, go subscribe. Also thanks again to the sponsor of today's show, audible.com/PhillyD. But of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love your faces and I'll see you tomorrow.
Will you shave your hair into a mohawk and dye it purple?
You know I'm a grown-ass man, right? No. Maybe if I was 10 years younger and I was dating a girl that was into anime and had her nipples pierced or whatever, but no.
Have I ever pooed myself? Yes. Anyone who says no to that is a liar.